engineering degree to do what I do. But it certainly helps. We have a customer that I'm going to do some parts for where they're developing a motor that has no bearings in it. It's held together by electric fields rotating at 159,000 RPM. So having the engineering degree and understanding what we're trying to do with those parts helps a lot. That's it for question 2.
All right, thanks. And then Megan?
Yeah, so like I said, I am in the LMS, so our learning management system. I went to school for 4 years at Oshkosh and came out with a bachelor's degree in communication. But that's directly supporting and being able to assist and help our manufacturing folks in developing the skills that they need to be able to be self-sufficient and learn our LMS system. From my perspective, a 2 to 4 year degree is acceptable, but also from our manufacturing side, we just need a high school diploma from our operators. And then Anne Marie can touch base on what she does.
Yep, so I have my high school diploma, but then I also have a technical diploma, which is a little bit smaller than an associate's. Associate's is normally like 60 credits, where I have a little bit over 30. And all of my learning was pretty much hands-on in the trades at Gateway. And then every day I use math, anywhere from math to science, physics. I work a lot on the machinery we have on site, so directly with our manufacturing lines. And we do a lot of troubleshooting. So it's just using rational, logical thinking to solve issues that occur with equipment that we have here on site. And yeah, it was pretty easy to obtain.
Great, thank you. And then we have Derek.
Yeah, so I graduated with a 4-year degree in engineering from Madison. But to be a manufacturing engineer, I guess you may need an associate's degree, I guess, in engineering, and then some experience, or an accredited 4-year degree from a university. A lot of what I do is very heavily math and science based. A lot of problem solving, but also a lot of communication. Similar to what David was talking about, being able to talk and communicate your ideas are really important. And then just problem solving. Manufacturing deals a lot with people and being able to work through their problems that they're seeing every day and trying to help them do better. So problem solving in general is just a great skill to have within manufacturing engineering. So.
Great, thanks. And then I saw that Kevin joined us. Kevin, do you want to introduce who you are? And then we're also just addressing what skills and education are needed in your career area.
Yeah, thanks, Gary, and sorry about being late, everybody. Tech issue on my end. I'm Kevin Muhs. I work for the Southeastern Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission, and we do planning and engineering for local governments and basically any nonprofit entity that's interested in anything related to infrastructure or development in Southeastern Wisconsin. And so my job, at least before I took my current position, was focused on transportation engineering. And so that's part of civil engineering. And it's all about building and developing the infrastructure that people either ride on using the bus or bike on or drive on or anything like that. And so very similar to, I heard Derek talk about the combination of math, science, physics, and then communication and being able to talk with people, being able to talk with the public, your coworkers, everybody you're working with and solving problems. And so that's really very consistent. For me, I got a 4-year civil engineering degree with a transportation focus. And again, math and science in high school, and then in college, getting into more technical electives specific to whatever sort of thing you're interested around solving problems through engineering. So.
Thank you. And then we have Matt.
Yeah, so a lot of, like Derek had mentioned, problem solving and critical thinking are very important, in this field. Knowing what the process that you're working with and being very involved with, you know, the people out on the floor and what exactly they're doing. Being able to dig into the analytics and look at, you know, what are your issues and understanding things. And then, you know, communicating, you know, is very important to, you know, to be able to work through those things. And then all that kind of rolls into managing projects and things like that once you pull all that information together. Typically, at minimum, I would say an associate's degree in this field is required at least to get started, and with some combination of experience in the field. And most manufacturers are going to require a 4-year degree to get into this. Me personally, I don't have either one of the degrees. I did take some classes over at Gateway right here in Sturtevant, and that kind of built a lot of the foundational tools that that I use every day to kind of get me started. And then I have a lot of experience here. I've been here with the company now for 7 years, and that's where I really got my footprint and opened up the door for me to do what I'm doing now.
And then Will?
Hi, actually, my situation is a little bit unique. I do have a 4-year degree, but it's an entirely different field. But here at Goodwill, my position here at Goodwill, I would say probably one of the biggest skills you would need is really good oral and written communication skills. We do a little bit of manufacturing, but of course, our mission in the nonprofit sector is actually putting people to work. So I said that to say that actually you can come into the company on the ground worst level, develop the skills and experience necessary to continue up the ladder. As a matter of fact, our CEO started off as a cashier at one of the stores and worked their way all the way up to hold the position of CEO of our corporation. So anything is definitely possible. But as you begin to venture off into the management side, yes, you would need a minimum of a associate degree, a general degree in the area would be something that would be needed. In the supply chain area, there is no particular degree that's needed. And again, the most encouraging thing is that you can be able to learn the kind of necessary experience or gain the necessary experience and learn the skills that you need to be able to work your way up the ladder.
All right, thanks. Our next question is, what was your career pathway from high school to the present? So how did you end up in your current career? And we'll just go in the same order, starting with David. Oh, you're on mute, David.
Dang, sorry.
There you go.
I graduated from Madison Memorial in Madison in 1974, and I went up to St. Olaf College in Northfield. Got into chemistry and thought I was going to go into medicine, and realized that theory wasn't my bag, and I needed to be able to hold things and cut them apart and look at them. So I went to Madison and got into the mechanical engineering school. I graduated from Madison with a engineering degree and a minor in business. I knew I wanted to go into business of some sorts. And I started out for 11 years being a mechanical contractor, designing heating and cooling systems for commercial buildings. And then I decided to move into something else. And so my wife and I purchased Nelson Brothers here in Racine. And I got into the manufacturing business in the machine shop. And I've been doing this for 30 years, and the on-the-job training has just been invaluable, learning and seeing so many different things, and having the engineering, material sciences, math and other sciences and physics, and machine design experience. I was able to understand what people were telling me and be able to come up with solutions and solve problems for our customer. That's what we do, solve problems. That's it.
I think we're next. So I went to high school actually locally at Union Grove. And then from there, I went to one of the UW schools up in Menasha. So those schools are 2-year schools. coming out of high school, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do, kind of in a panic, but knew I needed to start somewhere. So that was kind of the route that I took, just to stay up to speed with things, to be able to take gen eds, to get those under my belt. After that, I then transferred to UW Oshkosh. I thought I wanted to go the business route, changed my mind, and went the communication route. I kind of like the broadness that you could go with a communication degree. And I currently now partner very closely with our HR team. So that's kind of my path.
So in high school, I had no idea I was going to be an equipment technician. I definitely applied for art school, and I started working actually as a temp employee here at JWAX when I graduated early while I was waiting to go to school and make my decision. And I fell in love with production and manufacturing, and just paying attention to things and how everything was made around the world, pretty much. So I took a leap and I started going to school and working full time. And now I'm where I am. And every day I'm learning more and more. I'm a little bit greener in the trades, but it's nice because I'm not going to get bored. Every day I learn something new, and technology is constantly growing and changing, which means the machines that I work with or production operators work with every day is constantly growing and changing. So again, never bored and always learning. It's really nice.
Yeah. So I guess when I graduated high school, I went to Madison. When I started at Madison, I was a chemical engineering major, but talked to the advisor within the first semester, and they said it was going to be 5.5 to 6 years before I graduated, and that wasn't going to work out for me. And I had a mentor that showed me the material science and engineering program, and it was a super hands-on, super lab-based major, which suited me. I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I learned through doing more so than watching or listening to someone talk about something. But after graduating from Madison, didn't find a job right away. So I was a line cook for about 5 months in Madison, working 40 hours while applying to jobs on the side. And then I got hired initially at Modine as a contract employee. So I had, for those of you that don't know what that is, that's where you work for a company for a certain amount of time. And then after about a year into my contract, they were like, hey, we like you. So they ended up hiring me full time, and I've been in my current role for 2.5 years now. So I've been working for 3.5 years. Love every bit of manufacturing engineering and how challenging it is, because in college I was an RA, was on multiple clubs and stuff, and was really afraid at points that material science wasn't going to be working with people a lot. But manufacturing has been good for me in the way that I'm using my math and science, as well as using those human skills that I learned throughout my time in Madison. So, yeah.
I think it's my turn next, right? So yeah, pretty similar track here. So I grew up in Green Bay, graduated high school up there, and then went to Marquette. I was in Milwaukee. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to do that. And I entered in not exactly knowing what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to use math and science. That was stuff that I was really comfortable with. So engineering was definitely something that initially attracted me, but I wasn't sure what type of engineering. And then it became clear that I really liked the bigger stuff that I could physically see and use, because there's, you know, as other people have talked about, there's a whole variety of engineering. I don't think we've got too many electricals here. I'm not hearing people who are working on the tiny stuff. But, you know, so big projects, big infrastructure. And so with that, that's what I determined to follow. I did do the usual 4-year track. I will say when I graduated, that was back in 2009-10, the economy was not great. So I took a little detour to grad school. because there were no jobs in what I wanted to do, but ended up back using my engineering degree again, working on transportation infrastructure and the big, multi-million and multi-billion-dollar projects. So that's pretty much the track I followed, which is pretty traditional. It's not necessarily the track you have to follow to get into this industry, but it is the one I did. So.
Right. When I had gotten out of high school, I went into trade school, so I wasn't sure what I really wanted to do after high school, and my family was always in the trade, so that was just a natural path for me. After I got out of there, work was great, but the market shortly after fell apart after a couple of years, and I was kind of at a crossroads. Wasn't sure what to do, so I took a job in manufacturing. Worked in a machine shop for a little bit before settling here in Racine, and just trying to get used to that shift and going from doing hard labor to assembling things and making stuff basically. And after that, I kind of saw that people were going to school, they were gaining additional skills, and then they were moving up within the company. And so I decided, hey, that's something that I want to do. So I started going over here to Gateway, got into their mechanical engineering program. I worked on that for a couple of years. And I came over here to Mauser, started here because I wasn't really following that same path that others were at the same company. So I wasn't going to stay there long term. And I saw a lot of internal growth opportunity where I'm at. And those, excuse me, I was able to learn a lot, on the floor and apply a lot of the problem solving and critical thinking, skills that I had in various roles, and then work my way up. And that's pretty much, that's about the path that I've taken. So currently, I haven't gone back to school, but I certainly could to further the path that I'm on right now.
Am I next?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Let's see. I graduated high school in Milwaukee, Washington, high school. At that particular time, I thought I was going to be a system analyst, and decided that wasn't it. So my next biggest thing is people. I liked it dealing with people. I went on to seminary, where I got my degree in theology, which is entirely different to what I'm doing right now currently. Went away to college in Michigan, did that, came out, and I just decided I wanted to be in the warehousing industry. Had no experience at all, and because I'm always up for a good challenge, I started at the bottom, which when I entered into the field, I was a material handler. Went from there, ended up moving back this way. Came into Honeywell at the time, worked for Honeywell there, and worked my way up to a supervisor. And I did want to get back into the nonprofit sector, because I kind of felt like I wanted to do something where it wasn't just processes all the time. And for me, I needed something meaningful, dealing with people. And so an opportunity came up here at Goodwill, where I began to transition here, where I have a little bit more opportunity to work hands-on with people. And again, learning those necessary skills along the way, on the job there, allow me to arrive at the place where I am today. So I say this, that college is great. I went to college, I graduated college, but I didn't come out and do anything in the field that I went to college for. But I do possess incredible drive. So always remember that you have to make course adjustments in life along the way. What you like today, you might not like tomorrow. So that was my course.
Right, and that's a great piece of advice to end on, because that's a common theme across the board, right? And I hope the students understand that, you're exploring a lot of options right now, and you're going to change your mind probably a lot too, but we just want you to have those options sooner in your life so you can start making decisions at an earlier age, and decide where you want to go to school and things like that. So hopefully this will help the students explore what all these options are. The next question is, what do you love about your career?
Well, I'm an engineer, probably genetic. My grandfather, my father, I'm a mechanical engineer, and my son is a fourth generation ME from Madison. So it's kind of in our blood. I love solving the problems of people. We provide a 24/7 machining services, and you just never know what's going to walk in the door or who's going to call you at night. S.C. Johnson contacted us 2 weeks ago at 8:30 on a Tuesday night.
Absolutely.
And we delivered a replacement part to the line at 11:30 the next morning. That's, you have to go out and find out and make on-site decisions about what to do and get it done. It's a lot of fun, a lot of variation. It took me till I was 36 to find out what I really love to do. But I've been doing it now for 30 years, and at some point I would retire, but I still like to do the engineering side of it and try and come up with a solution for our customer. That's it.
So I think the biggest thing that I love about my career is being able to help and support, and being able to interact with new people. So currently here at SCJ, we're doing a lot of hiring. So being able to show new incoming people that, here's just the beginning of your support system. And, we're always here to help you. And then to the other spectrum of being able to support our seasoned manufacturers that have been here with the company for, 20 plus over years. So.
Yeah, I love that you do all those things, honestly. You do a lot.
We do.
Yeah, absolutely. I love just learning, honestly. I love knowledge and not being bored, not knowing what's coming next. That's what I love about my job. But what makes it even better and makes me love my job more is that the company that I chose to grow with, because I have, I'm, like I said, I'm greener in my career, so I'm newer. So I have a lot of opportunity for growth. I can continue going to school if I want. I can just stay in the position that I'm in for the rest of my life and just grow with the technology around me. There's a lot of things to love about manufacturing. It's just, you got to take the dive and, take a look. There's nothing like she had said earlier, it is really important to experience everything you possibly can experience right now in order to find out what you like and what you're passionate about and what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I guess the part about manufacturing engineering that I really love is just that the problems are easy to solve. It's really easy to go out there and say, well, this should be the easiest solution. And then you try it out and then it fails. And so when you actually find a solution that works, it's really satisfying to solve it. It's also really satisfying to see how it impacts the people that you work with. To see the changes in their mentality of, we've been working on this for 15 years and we couldn't figure it out. And then we were able to solve it. And now you get to see them smile and be like, it's done. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I think that moment of solving a problem that was really kind of unattainable or something that couldn't be solved beforehand is really satisfying to me, at least. I like to hit my head up against a brick wall until I break the wall. So that's kind of what manufacturing engineering can be at times. So yeah, I think that's the part that I love about my career, is that it's no boring problems or boring tests that you have to do. It's all complex and there's a lot of aspects to it. So yeah.
Okay, hearing a lot of commonality here. I think that's what happens when you get a bunch of engineers, even if we're in different parts of engineering together. Yeah, it's about the challenges. I think navigating new stuff, new problems with people, and in our work in particular, it can be a combination of a technical challenge and a political implementation challenge. So you've got to get people on board with the solution. You have to get people to come along with you through the process of solving the problem. And so that's the part that really energizes me. I like coming up with those answers, coming up with solutions that maybe people wouldn't have thought of otherwise, and doing it in the interest of getting people to and from their job, shopping, visiting their friends, all that stuff, as safely as possible and as effectively as possible. So that's what gets me up in the morning as far as related to work.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but yeah, definitely, solving problems, especially, the things that are kind of linger on over time that, people can't work their way through, and, pulling a team together and, using all of your resources to, work through things and implement corrective actions that are gonna, fix something for people out on the floor, and, seeing something, go away that's been a problem for 6 months or a year or longer is very satisfying. And when you're on those issues that you just can't work through, it drives you to dig in deeper, and it motivates you to find out what is the root cause of something. And it's just a continuous learning with that too. There's a lot of problem solving. It's going into something that you don't really know a whole lot about, so you've got to do that homework to find out how something works and what it's going to take to start solving it.
Manuel?
Okay, the biggest thing I like about my job, of course, is the people you get to meet, the day-to-day challenges, because as we see around here, the landscape changes all the time. But being able to work for goodwill, and one of the founding missions is the power of people in working. You get a chance to run across a lot of good people and be able to help people make a really positive impact in their lives. And because of my background in theology, that gives me that purpose back with the nonprofit sector. So that's what I really love about my job, besides the wonderful people I work with.
Thank you. And I know we're running short on time here. There is one more question if we can answer in just a few words, but if any of you have advice for our students who are listening today, if you could just do a quick share out of anything that you would advise them on, please.
To the students out there watching and listening, follow your passion and your dreams. If by chance you don't make the right decision the first time, don't hesitate to try something else and show up for work. If you're there, you're going to learn. They'll respect that. They'll take care of you. You'll get raises and whatnot. There's too many people out there that don't take it seriously. You'd be in the top 15% if you have perfect attendance. So be happy at work.
I totally agree with that. Show up to work, even if it's not something that you are completely in love with, but you're still just trying to find your path. Dedicate yourself 100% and always be eager to learn. That kind of is one of the biggest things that we preach here at SC Johnson Waxdale to our employees is be eager to learn. That'll get you very far in places.
Yep. And definitely take time to invest in yourself. I get life is happening outside of school around you guys like crazy, but don't forget about yourself. Just understand that the more you invest in yourself, the more worth you'll have eventually and things like that. And experience what you can while you're young so you find your passion.
Mine would be don't be afraid to fail. You're going to fail a lot in life. Things aren't going to go as you planned, and things aren't going to be as perfect as you wanted when you started your freshman year of high school, but that's okay. I've had a very different career path. I wanted to be a writer when I started in high school. So very, very different place right now. And it's okay to fail. Like I fail a lot in my job right now and no one's going to fire me for it yet. But just have fun with it and everything. You can learn a lot more from failure than you do from succeeding all the time. So.
I think to add to that, it would be be ready to roll with the punches and take what you can from each experience and try to work towards a long-term goal, and don't expect necessarily things to come immediately. But if you do work at it and you have passion for what you're doing and a passion for what you're trying to get to, it makes it a lot easier to reach that point sooner, and also make sure you're happy and content with life along the way too. So that'd be my main piece of advice.
Yeah, definitely. Show up every day. Ask a lot of questions. I always, look at what's that next step. The step after that. Start. If you don't know what your path is, you can start building it through, looking at what's around you. The people that are, that you're reporting to. How did they get there? What does it take to do what they're doing? And just keep continuously applying yourself every day. I think that's one of the most important things you can do, is just always have that mentality of, you can learn and advance in what you're doing, wherever you're at. Just take that wherever you go, and that'll go a long way for you.
I guess I would say the biggest thing is to believe in yourself, and understanding that where you start does not necessarily determine how you're going to finish. I'm a living example of just that.
Thank you. Really good advice. And I did want to emphasize another reoccurring theme that I heard is showing up and being eager to learn. And you know where you can practice that, students? In school. You can show up to class and be eager to learn and raise your hand and pay attention. That's how you practice to be what David said is the top 15% and get your raises later in life. So I want to appreciate all of you for saying some of those great pieces of advice for our students. I know we're running short on time. Actually, we're out of time. But if any students did have any questions, feel free to have your teacher pop them in the chat real quick, and we'll try to address those before everybody takes off. I'm not hearing any questions in the theater. Any teachers on there getting a question in, or feel free to unmute if you have one. Otherwise, thank you so much for attending today and sharing a little bit about your careers. The students are going to continue researching careers and figuring out what pathway suits them best throughout the rest of their freshman year here. So we really appreciate you taking the time to share that with us. Otherwise, I don't see any questions popping up. So thank you so much and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.